this picture. And yeah, and I thought, and immediately as well, I thought this would be an amazing tool to give to all of the boys coming into our service, because so often they come up to me and say, Danny, like,
Well, good morning ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Back on the south coast of New South Wales once again, coming out for a sunrise this morning. I'm here bright and early this morning. First light is in about 10 minutes time. I've arrived pretty early this morning, giving myself plenty of time to get into position and get myself set up and organised. Pretty early start this morning. In terms of the weather forecast for this morning, the weather forecast this morning is actually for some pretty good conditions. There's quite a bit of high cloud forecast, nice calm conditions, very little wind, and we've got a moderate swell with a run out tide, which is pretty well suited to landscape photography or seascape photography. When you're shooting seascapes, it's always better to have a run-out tide than a run-in tide. The run-in tides can get a bit dangerous at times. You get a lot of unpredictable waves and swells. Run-out tide, meaning the tide's running out, it's normally a little bit safer, the tide. The water level's actually getting less as you go on with the shoot, so it does make it a bit easier. As I've arrived, there's lots and lots of cloud in the sky. There was forecast to be a lot of medium and high cloud. There is lots of low cloud on the horizon, which is not favourable because that can sort of block the sun from lighting up those high clouds, which is what we ultimately want. But we'll see how we go. I've come to this little location here. It's very straightforward and simple. I scoped this place out a couple of days ago. The images here you'll see once we start to shoot are going to be quite simple images. There's just some really beautiful rocks here, round pebble type rocks, multiple colours, very nice scene, and I'm really just going to keep it very simple, just some nice rocks and hopefully a nice little bit of light as the sun begins to rise, and just some pretty traditional seascape images. So we'll see how we go. I've got my camera and tripod ready to go here. Hopefully I won't drop my camera like I did on my last shoot. Thankfully it all seems okay. A few battle scars, but everything seems all right. So yeah, I'll without any further ado, I'll get down to it and start taking some images. And as we go along, I'll talk you through it. Rightio, so just getting set up here. Pretty obvious that I'm going to get wet here. I almost like getting wet. I think when you're shooting seascapes, if you want to get that nice flow in the foreground, you've really got to get wet feet. You've got to get close to the action. So just watching a few waves, there's a few decent ones rolling in here. My feet are wet, but I think I'll be fine. I've got a pretty sturdy position here. Just keep an eye on these waves. Just got my feet pretty steady here, so I think I'll be okay. I've got my trusty microfiber cloth so I can keep my lens nice and clean, and I was just playing with the white balance there. Actually, I started off, my camera was actually set to cloudy white balance, which I sometimes use when it's a bit overcast or a bit cloudy. Just watching these waves, I don't want to get water on my lens. I've just changed the white balance back to auto. I really didn't like the look of the cloudy white balance. It was very purple, so I just turned it back to auto white balance. I'm just going to start off here, F11. I'm on bulb mode, so I'll go back to manual, F11. Probably about, still pretty dark, so I might have to use a pretty high ISO, but I might just start off with a couple of longer shots at the moment. And I'm going to use my histogram as well, so bring my histogram up on the screen. I just want to make sure I don't clip those highlights. So I'm probably going to shoot about a stop underexposed. I'll turn my ISO up a little bit. I might go up to about 400. I'm pretty comfortable with shooting 400 ISO on this camera. It handles it pretty well. So 2 seconds, F11, ISO 400. Let's take our first frame. Another one. That's not a bad start. Let's just hope we get some decent light this morning. This is my third sunrise in a row that I've been out, and the first day I went out I got rain and overcast, but still got some good conditions. You will have seen that video by now from Camel Rock. Yesterday was pretty good conditions. We had a bit of light when I was out shooting with Peter. Still haven't got perfect light yet, but that's landscape photography or seascape photography. Keep persevering, and if you keep turning up, eventually things will go in your favour. So I'm just going to take lots of frames. It's all about the water flow. I keep talking about it. Getting the frame that's got the right water flow in it, and then we'll just experiment with different shutter speeds as we go along. That wave was a bit higher than I'd hoped. I've now got wet legs. Just tweaking my composition here. I've tried, this is a big wave. I've tried, just got to watch these waves. I've tried a few landscape images. I've just switched over to vertical, and I've readjusted the height of my tripod as well. I'm just probably trying to get a little bit more impact on the foreground, and by slightly lowering the height of my tripod, I'm getting more foreground, less midground. I felt like the midground, there was almost a little bit too much in the midground there, so I've just tweaked my composition. Sunrise is about 10 minutes away. I don't know how we're going to go light-wise here, but we will persevere, that's for sure. So if you might be interested in my settings here, I'm using a circular polarizer. I really just spin the polarizer. There's no real right or wrong with a polarizer. You just spin the polarizer until you like the look. I actually quite like the sheen that's on the rocks, that sort of shine that's catching the edges of the rocks. So I'm sort of just adjusting the polarizer to suit, to pick up a bit of that light, and just, yeah, there's no right or wrong with the polarizer. And a lot of people will tell you shouldn't use a polarizer with a wide angle lens. That's actually fairly true, but I am still using it. I've probably got my polarizer like half turned on, if you like. I'll take a shot here, wait for this wave. I'll wait for this wave to recede, shoot now. That looks pretty cool. I might have to get a graduated filter out soon because there's a quite a bit of bright glare in the sky there as well. Obviously the sun's going to be rising out this direction, so I might even try like a 3-stop graduated filter just to try and control a little bit of that light in the sky there. There's actually a bit of light starting to come on the landscape now. I don't mind this light. I know a lot of people will tell you not to shoot directly into the sun, but I sort of like this. I sort of like the fact that there's a real lot of dark contrast in the foreground, and then the back of the scene's very soft and dreamy, almost a little overexposed if anything in the background. It's got that real glow of the sun, and that's probably the track I would take in editing this photo. Just going to change my aperture here. I'm really trying to keep, I'm going to go to f16. I'll almost never go above f16. I'm just really trying to keep that shutter speed under control. Getting back to what I was saying there, yeah, I sort of like the fact that you have a lot of strong contrast in the foreground and then some sort of soft glow in the background. It draws the eye through the scene. You probably noticed that I've actually repositioned here. I've moved up the beach a little bit further. Someone's waving at me. There's a lady on the beach here. I don't know if it's someone I know or she's just out for a friendly morning walk. There's no such thing as a bad day's photography, they say. And I've certainly come to learn that over the years. You just go out and shoot. Sometimes you'll get amazing images, sometimes not so much. But it's all part of the fun. This is a wave I wanted. And it certainly beats working. Well, working in a real job. Sorry for all those people that are sitting in the office today. This is my office. So I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do this sort of stuff on a regular basis. I've actually repositioned here, changed over to my 6-stop ND filter, and I'm just trying some pretty simple longer exposures around 30 seconds. Actually, just move that camera up so you can see what I'm doing here. Actually quite liking these. These are probably my favourite shots of the day thus far. So we're doing a 25-second exposure. I'm down quite low now. You'll probably notice that I'm only, pardon me, about 2 foot off the ground, really bringing the foreground into play. 25 seconds. I've got a 6-stop ND filter. I've got a 3-stop medium graduated filter just to bring that those highlights in the sky down a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I don't mind that. I think you've always got to be open to change when you're out taking photos. Like when you arrive at a scene, you'll always have a plan in your head that you want to do, and often you'll go away from that plan and you'll change your plan or change tact and try something different. What I'm doing now is not what I thought I was going to do this morning, but I think it's sort of working a little bit better. So I actually repositioned myself here again. I'm trying a different composition, a landscape composition. I'm sort of liking the longer exposures with the 6-stop ND filter. The best of the light's nearly past now, so I probably won't hang around for too much longer. I'll go back to my caravan and have some coffee. The first half an hour, I have to admit, I wasn't very I was sort of a little bit underwhelmed. I wasn't very happy with any of the images, and I thought, I don't know, whether this day is going to be worth it. But changing to the ND filter, getting down a bit lower, moving around a few times, I think I've actually got a couple of shots that I quite like, so I'm happy. Shoot this one. This is a 20-second exposure, f11 ISO 50. On the mirrorless Canon, you can change your native ISO down to ISO 50. I almost always shoot at ISO 50 or ISO 100. I hope that wave didn't land on my camera. That shot's actually really nice. I'll take another one. I just had to have a little bit of a talk to myself. I was saying to Peter yesterday when I was out shooting, I just have this habit of constantly shooting in portrait orientation or vertical, and I don't even think about it, and I really need to be more mindful of that and shoot a bit of both, shoot some landscape images as well as some vertical portraits. I really like the verticals for landscape orientation, particularly when you've got a really big impactful foreground, but this landscape image works really well here too. With I'm at 15mm, pretty wide. I'm getting the curve of this little cove here in the shot, sort of the middle of the curves in approximately the middle of the frame, and then leading out to that headland at the back. Pretty simple, clean composition, but it sort of works. I'd actually be really interested to hear in the comments what you guys think about what's your favourite, what do you like to shoot, landscape or vertical images when you're out doing landscapes or seascapes? What's your favourite? Let me know in the comments what you think. Okay guys, I thought I might just give you a quick rundown on my camera gear here for anyone that might be interested. You can see what gear I'm using here. This is the Canon R5, really good camera, 46 megapixel mirrorless. I'm a big fan of this camera. When I first bought it, I didn't think it was a lot different to my previous Canon 5D Mark IV, but after owning this camera for a while, I realised just how capable it was. Image quality is outstanding, beautiful resolution. It's got really good dynamic range. You can sort of shoot your images 1 or 2 stops underexposed and have no problems bringing out the detail or the shadows in those images. One thing that I really like about the camera as well, being mirrorless, it's got such good image stabilization. You can shoot handheld images. I often shoot handheld water movement images, waterfalls, seascapes, things like that. You can go up to about half a second, and as long as you keep very, you have a good firm position and you're not moving, you can shoot handheld up to about half a second. So, or probably even longer if you're, leaning against a tree or something. So, really good camera. The lens I'm using here is the 15 to 35 RF lens, which is the right lens for this camera. Again, beautiful lens, really sharp, really clean, big fan of it. This one's a 2.8. I've got a NiSi filter set up on here. I'm supported by NiSi Filters Australia and also Explorer Photo and Video. If you're into ND filters, you can't beat NiSi filters. They're definitely the best quality product out there in the world of filters. This is a V7 filter holder. I've got my 6-stop ND in there, and my favourite graduated filter is a 3-stop medium graduated filter. Over to my tripod. This is the Explorer carbon fibre tripod. I can't remember the model. I'll have to put a link down below. This is the top of the line model, or the biggest one they make. To be honest, you probably don't need a tripod quite this big for landscapes, but I do like a very big, heavy, sturdy tripod on a windy day or that sort of thing. But if you were going to buy an Explorer tripod for landscape or seascapes, I'd recommend the top 2 models. Both are very, very good tripods. I'll have a link down below. This thing here, you might be interested. This thing here is actually called an Atoll. It's been out for a couple of months now, and it's a fantastic invention. Basically what it enables you to do, mounts to your tripod, does away with the old-fashioned L bracket, and what it enables you to do is just loosen this screw here, and you can just quite easily switch from landscape to portrait orientation. Really, really handy when you're out shooting, because often you'll find a really nice composition and you don't really want to move your tripod, and you can just take the same shot as a landscape and then just flip that back up and take the same shot as a vertical shot as well. Okay, over to my camera bag. A bit messy, but I'll give you a run through what I've got here. This camera bag's actually pretty old. Actually, I've had it for a few years now. It's called a, what's it called? I've forgotten the name, but Mindshift gear. It's actually really good. It's up for replacement soon, so I might have a new one soon. I just carry in here, I've got spare batteries. I have a little multi-tool in there, which is handy for Allen keys or screwdrivers, that sort of thing, on a little multi-tool. Down the bottom there, I just keep spare polarizers, a wide shutter if I ever need, a little brush for cleaning things. In the bag, I always have a couple of these microfiber cloths. These things get used every time I'm shooting. I've got a couple of those. Got another one up the back here. Trusty head torch, a must when you're out shooting sunrises. You really need a good head torch. Got an air blower in the back there, which is a NiSi air blower, which comes in really handy for just blowing water or dust or anything off your lenses. Down the back here is a NiSi 1 to 5 stop variable ND filter. I use this a lot. Should be in its case actually, it's just sitting there. Really good filter, that one. I've got a spare camera down the back here. It's a Canon R6, so I always carry a spare camera just in case. I'm also teaching workshops for a living, so it's always handy to have a spare camera. Down here, I've got the Canon 100 to 500 millimeter zoom lens. Beautiful lens, tack sharp, really great autofocus. I'm a huge fan of that lens, and I'll use that for more intimate landscapes, waves, wildlife, things like that. Down here, I've got my mid-range lens, which is a Canon 24 to 105 f4. This is an RF lens for the mirrorless system. Really versatile lens. If you're only ever going to own one lens, you'd probably buy that lens. It's just a good all-rounder, really sharp, fast autofocus, great lens. In here, just a few little pouches. I've got a few spare lens caps, bits and bobs. This is the actual case for my variable ND filter. GoPro accessories in here, some microphones in here that I use for video. Rode video mics, or I've got a little lapel mic that I'm using at the moment. NiSi filters, a full set of filters in there, different NDs, graduated filters, reverse graduated filters, polarizers, all that kind of thing. I have a spare filter system as well, spare filter holder, spare polarizers. Always carry lots of spare stuff when you're traveling. In a nutshell, that's pretty much it. My wet weather jacket's always on the side of the bag. There's a few other things in the front of the bag, but just little, spare SD cards, things like that. So that's about it. All right, guys, well, that's going to be a wrap on today's video. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Some nice images there for you to have a look through. All in all, I was pretty happy with the way the images turned out this morning. As I said earlier, when I first got here, I wasn't too excited. I didn't really like the light in the first sort of 15-20 minutes of shooting. The light was a bit flat, and I wasn't really getting great images. But as the day unfolded and as the sun came up, some light on the landscape, a little bit of texture in the clouds and some reasonably good light. I'm pretty happy with some of those images. So yeah, good to get out. Time to go back to my caravan and have a cup of coffee and a bit of a rest, some breakfast. As I say on all my videos, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I really want to hear what you've got to say. I really appreciate if you leave a comment. It always helps me out with YouTube. Also, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty much about it from me. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Get out there and shoot. There's no substitute for getting out and shooting. No matter what the conditions are, you'll never regret getting up early or staying out late and shooting. So we'll see you all again next time. Thanks guys, take care.